Greek mythology, an eerie and unearthly world of gods, deities, heroes, weak men, and women fighting for the overall good, monsters, creatures from an unknown world. Greek mythology is the body of all the legends, stories, and myths created by the ancient Greeks, and it used to be the basis of their spiritual and religious beliefs and cult practices. Gods were worshipped in temples erected for them, and there was always a person, a priestess mostly, that could communicate with the god and interpret his will. Greeks were polytheistic people, meaning that they believed in the existence of gods, the famous 12 gods of Mount Olympus and numerous deities and semi-gods that played supporting roles to the original gods. Ancient Greeks believed that their gods had enormous powers, in that they were able to control nature in all its forms. The interesting part is that it was Greeks themselves who appointed all this power to their gods, yet they were full of respect and fear for them.
On the other hand, Roman mythology was the polytheistic religious system practiced in ancient Rome, which consisted of a combination of beliefs, rituals, and observances. The Romans' own story changed so much throughout time because it was passed down by word of mouth that the original story told of Roman gods and goddesses can never really be known. The Romans adopted the idea from many different influences, but they got their main ideas from Greek mythology, especially their main gods. The Deicocentes, after the 12 Olympians. There was a god or goddess for almost everything, so something as important as the moon or a small like wine. But the Deicocentes, the council of gods made up by 6 gods and 6 goddesses, were the ones who were honored the most out of the Roman pantheon. Romans worshipped 2 different ways. One was at home where families worshipped specific spirits. The other way is in public where everyone honored multiple gods. Many people thought that the gods helped in building Rome.
Zeus was the god of the sky and ruler of the Olympian gods. He overthrew his father, Cronus, and then drew lots with his brothers, Poseidon and Hades. In order to decide who would succeed their father on the throne, Zeus won the draw and became the supreme ruler of the gods, as well as lord of the sky and rain. His weapon was a thunderbolt, which he hurled at those who displeased or defied him, especially liars and oath breakers. He was married to Hera, but often tested her patience, as he was infamous for his many affairs.
Poseidon is the god of the sea and protector of all aquatic features. He married Amphitrite, one of the granddaughters of the Titan Oceanus. At one point, he desired Demeter. To deter him, Demeter asked him to make the most beautiful animal that the world had ever seen. So, in an effort to impress her, Poseidon created the first horse. In some accounts, his first attempts were unsuccessful and created a variety of other animals in his quest. Thus, by the time the horse was created, his passion for Demeter had diminished.
Hades, ruler of the underworld and the dead, had a helmet which rendered its wearer invisible. The Greeks were not keen on uttering his name, afraid of causing some kind of reaction that would end up with them dead sooner. Instead, they decided to give him another name, Pluton, deriving from the Greek word for wealth. due to the precious metals mined from the earth. Thus, Hades also became the god of wealth.
Hestia, a virgin goddess and sister of Zeus. Although initially she was included in the Olympian gods, she was later replaced by Dionysus. She took a vow to remain a virgin, refusing to give in to the callings of Poseidon and Apollo. Once, she was almost raped by Priapus, a lesser god of fertility, but was saved thanks to the braying of a mule. Hera, Zeus's wife and sister, protector of marriage, spent most of her time punishing the women Zeus fell in love with, like cows and peacocks. Zeus initially courted Hera, but after many unsuccessful attempts, he resorted to trickery. He took the form of a disheveled cuckoo. Hera, feeling sorry for the bird, held it to her breast to keep it warm. Zeus then resumed his normal form and taking advantage of Hera's surprise, he raped Hera, then married him to cover her shame. Their marriage was turbulent and they often clashed.
Ares, god of war and son of Zeus and Hera. He was disliked by both his parents. Whenever Ares appeared in a myth, he was depicted as a violent personality who faced humiliation through his defeats more than once. In the Iliad, it is mentioned that Zeus hated him more than anyone else. Ares was also on the losing side of the Trojan War, favoring the Trojans. He was the lover of his sister, Aphrodite, who was married to Hephaestus. When the latter found out about the affair, he devised a plan and managed to humiliate both of them. The union of Ares and Aphrodite resulted in the birth of 8 children, including Eros, the god of love. Athena, daughter of Zeus alone, no mother. She sprang from his head full-grown and in full armor. The protector of civilized life, handicrafts and agriculture, invented the bridle and first tamed the horse. She was fierce and brave in battle. However, she only took part in wars that defended the state and home from outside enemies. She was the patron of the city, handicraft, and agriculture. She was the embodiment of wisdom, reason, and purity. She was Zeus' favorite child and was allowed to use his weapons including his thunderbolt. Her holy tree was the olive tree and she was often symbolized as an owl.
Apollo, son of Zeus, master musician, archer god, healer, god of light, god of truth, sun god, a busy god who likes the laurel tree, dolphins and crows. As already mentioned, Apollo was also considered as the god of healing and medicine, either through himself or through his son, Asclepius. At the same time, he could also bring forth disease and plague. With his arrows, it was considered that a god that can cause disease is also able to prevent it.
Aphrodite, daughter of Zeus, goddess of love and beauty. She likes the myrtle tree, doves, sparrows, and swans. There are 2 accounts of her birth. According to one, she was the daughter of Zeus and Dione, the mother goddess worshipped at the oracles of Dodona. However, the other account, which is more prevalent, informs us that she arose from the sea on a giant scallop. After Cronus castrated Uranus and tossed his severe genitals into the sea, Aphrodite then walked to the shore of Cyprus. In a different version of the myth, she was born near the island of Cythera, hence her epithet Cytherea.
Hermes, son of Zeus, wore wings on his sandals and his hat. Thus, graceful and swift, When Hermes was born, he jumped out of his crib, stole Apollo's cattle, and then went back to his crib playing innocent. However, Apollo figured it out, grabbed Hermes, and went to Zeus to complain. The father of gods simply laughed and didn't punish Hermes. To apologize, Hermes gave Apollo the lyre which he had just invented. Hermes appeared in many other myths. In the Odyssey, Odysseus was instructed by the god to chew a magic herb with which he would be able to avoid Circe's powers and not be transformed to animals like his companions. In the myth of Pandora, when the gods provided a tray to her, Hermes gave her the ability to lie and seduce with her words.
Artemis. She was the daughter of Zeus and Leto, twin sister of Apollo, lady of wild things and huntsman to the gods. As Apollo is the sun, Artemis is the moon. She was born on the island of Ortygia, where Leto had found shelter after being hunted by the lawful wife of Zeus, Hera. As soon as Artemis was born, she helped her mother give birth to her twin brother, thereby becoming the protector of childbirth and labor. She asked her father to grant her eternal chastity and virginity, and never gave in to any potential lovers. Devoted to hunting and nature, she rejected marriage and love. Hephaestus, god of fire, the only ugly and deformed god, makes armor and weapons forged under volcanoes. According to Homer's epics, the Iliad and the Odyssey, he was the son of Zeus and Hera. However, Hesiod informs us that Hera bore Hephaestus alone. According to an account, after Hephaestus was born, Hera threw him from Olympus because he was crippled. He fell into the ocean and was raised by Thetis and Eurynome. He was later accepted back to Olympus and became the craftsman of the gods, creating majestic armors, shields, and weapons.